Good Tuesday morning to everybody. How are you doing? We are back from our camping trip. 4 of us went, myself, my friends Tim and Michael and Murphy. We went to a wonderful campground in northern Ohio, almost on the Lake Erie area, but more in the Bays area. It was a beautiful campground. There were a lot of people there. It was actually, I was really kind of surprised with the amount of people that were at the campground. But then again, it's summer and, a lot of people have campers. So we were in an area that had a lot of camper hookups. Our particular little area didn't have any hookups of any kind, which was good because we were in tents. But we had plenty of space for 3 tents, probably 5 tents if we had more people. But we were all set up. We got set up. It didn't take very long. I'm glad that I practiced in the back of the house here on how to put everything together, because I'm going to show Café Graciela. I want to show that's the coffee that I've got, because that's where I got it from, at a vendor at the Westerville Open Air Market. Café Graciela, delicious coffee. I'm very excited to get this back into a cup and go, because it's delicious. Hang on, we'll blitz this up. It seems like there's a bit in there kind of stuck to the side. Maybe it's just a piece of the hull. I didn't spritz it. I gotta get back into the groove, I guess. Put you on here. Push you back just a little bit. There we go. Smells delicious. Nice coffee smell. Kind of a little bit of a fruity note. It's very nice. It's a good medium coffee. Yeah, I didn't spritz the beans, so we've got some static in places. It'll be all right. We'll be okay. So yeah, we set up tents, set up camp, had ourselves brought with us dinner, which very interesting. Tim had Spam on English muffins. He also brought peanut butter with him. I brought an assortment of things: meat, snack sticks, popcorn, granola of various types, fruit. I think I brought bananas and apples. Didn't bring Lady with me, right? Yeah. She's an inside cat. Anyway, we had a really good time. I'd say the only bad thing about it was I woke up after night 2 on Sunday with various bug bites all over my feet, and they've been itching ever since. That's probably been the only bad part about it. I mean, otherwise we had a wonderful time. We walked around different places, went to the bay, looked out onto the water. That was kind of nice. Sat there for a little while contemplating life, as we are wont to do sometimes. And then the sleeping wasn't bad. The air mattress I had was actually firm enough to where I didn't touch the ground at all. And I fit on it, which was nice. It was hot though. Even though it got down to around 66, 67 degrees, it was still very humid, so everything had a sheen of moisture on it. That really wasn't pleasant to climb into, but like I said, it did calm down. It wasn't very hot in the evenings and at night, so that was kind of nice. But it wasn't too cold. So, and then the tent I had, I think it could hold like 3 people. So it's an old tent that still holds up really well. So we had a wonderful time. There were quite a few campers there. And we got there on a Friday night, and we left on a Friday midday. I don't think we could set up our tents until after 3. So, and that's another thing. We left a little early and went up to the Sandusky area. There is, in the Sandusky Mall, which still seems to be thriving, by the way, which is great. I'm very happy to see that. We have some malls around here that are not faring so well. They have a Federation, a Star Trek Federation store, and it was really cool to be able to walk through that again. We had something like that here called Starbase Columbus a while ago. I think the people that ran it retired. This place in Sandusky was really cool to walk through. They have a gigantic Enterprise A that they're putting back together. I think it used to be part of a traveling Star Trek thing that went to museums. And then there was also a notification on a plaque somewhere saying that they were trying to recreate a bridge of some kind, and I really didn't get to see what bridge that was. But they had a working TOS captain's chair, which was kind of cool. The buttons were labeled, so you could hit buttons and different things would happen and different sayings would happen, and it was really cool. Yeah, that was really cool. And then we left there, we ate at Cheers. They have a Cheers in that mall, which pretty tasty burger. The burger was really good. I had a really nice cheeseburger. That was a really nice thing before we went camping, to have something substantial like that, because I didn't know when the next time would be that we would have something substantial. So we left there and we went to the campgrounds, which Tim likes to bike. He's a biker, like pedal bikes, not like leather and chaps and whatnot. So when we were at the mall, which was not really that far from the campgrounds, maybe like a half hour, 45 minutes from the campground, he put the directions in his phone and went, "Holy shit." And I'm like, "What's going on?" And then he's like, "Oh God." Oh, he said like, "Oh God," 3 times. And then I'm like, what is going on, Tim? And he said, it said it was 14 hours to the campsite. But then I realized that was by bike, because last time I used this thing, I was using it for biking. He freaked out. It just kind of lost touch with reality for just a second, because it's like, why would it be 14 hours to? He said, if it was 14 hours, we just turn around and go back home. It was a very interesting moment, and kind of the way the trip went, which was really fun. There was never a dull moment, but it wasn't uncontrolled moment of panic or anything like that. So at least that lasted very long. So we had a wonderful time. I had my own tent. Michael and Murphy were in another tent, and then Tim had his own tent. So we had a wonderful time. It was, the place had a, I guess we'll go for the full 500 then, since I wasn't paying attention. There's a quiet time at the campgrounds. After about 10 o'clock, people are to stop being loud. So at about 10:45, people were still watching National Treasure or something like that on the side of their camper. They had a big projector, and they were playing it on the side of the camper, which, is a fun little novelty to have for the kids when you're camping. But it was like 10:45, and they were still watching it, and it was really loud. So Tim, I was laying down. I had a sound machine in my phone, so I had the ocean playing. So I pretty much had everything around me deadened, the sound, because I had the immediate sound there. So, but Tim was like, I heard Tim unzip his tent and then go looking for a ranger, park ranger. Found one on the way there, which was nice, and so I guess that got turned down. So it's not like I blame him. It's just very funny that I heard him unzip his tent, and I knew exactly what was going to happen. We were close enough to where we could hear each other wake up, kind of, but we were far enough away to where it was, no one could bother the other one, really, if they were in a dead sleep. And I'll tell you what, I was never in a dead sleep. The camping part was kind of fun, but it takes a toll on you, and then you don't know until the day after when you get home what the extent of the damage is. My back doesn't hurt, which surprises me. I'm glad about it, and it surprises me because, that's the first thing to go on me is my back hurting. But then it was about 3 almost a 3-minute drawdown. It's not too bad. Maybe I ground it too. I ground it too coarse. I went coarse just because I thought that would be interesting, and I took it too far. So that's my fault. But it's not a problem. It doesn't matter that much. It's going to be fine. It's got a nice color to it. So we went camping, and my feet got eaten day 2, and then I really didn't start feeling it until I got home. I guess there were like 2 mosquitoes and maybe a spider or 2 that got into my tent. Mosquitoes can get into your tent. I mean, I had my a net opening that I had closed the entire time, but it's not sealed in any way. So I tried spraying it with my bug repellent, the zipper on both sides, and then the zipper down the front of the actual tent closure. That didn't seal fully. It just came down and met at the bottom. Whereas the mesh, the very thin mesh that lets air pass through, it did zip to 3 points in the middle. But then, like I said, there's a small little hole there. It's not like sealed up like a Velcro or like press and seal bags, you know? So, and you know, I was going in and out getting stuff. So, I mean, bugs could have gotten in, and that's fine. Still, you know, it was, I don't know. I mean, I think that tent is like 25, 30 years old at this point. So it would be nice to go see how tent technology has updated. I can go do that. I don't need something that big if I were to ever go do that again. It was large. It was nice to be able to stand up in the tent. Well, I don't know. Maybe something that held 2 people would be nice, so I could have myself on one side and then the suitcase on the other side. As it stood, I could have had 4 of my suitcases on the inside of that and 2 beds, and still had floor room to walk around in. So it was pretty big on the inside. We actually had a wonderful time. It was an absolute joy. I hadn't camped for a very long time. It was with my best friend Ryan. We went to a campground that I can't remember the name of. We drove through back roads to get there. That one, I think I remember it being fairly populated as well, but it had a place where you could swim right next to it. And I think we stayed there for 2 nights, maybe. Maybe was a 2-nighter over the weekend as well, with tents and whatnot. I think he provided the tent because I drove us up there because I used Dad's old 82 red Toyota pickup truck that was falling to pieces. I think the frame had rusted in 2, and the only thing keeping it together was metal chain links and some terrible welding. And then the bed was up against the cab like this. There was no gap at the top of the bed and the truck cab. So it was an interesting vehicle that lasted well past when it should have expired technically. So because Dad takes care of things like that. So, but yeah, so that was the last time, and that was a long time ago. I don't know if was I in college? Was I out of college when we decided to do that? Was it in the 2000s or was it in the 90s? I can't remember. We had a wonderful time. It had been the first time in a very long time since I camped, and it was a lot of fun. Save the bugs. I mean, don't save the bugs. Kill all the bugs, especially the mosquitoes. I mean, my feet itch like crazy. I want to take hydrogen peroxide by the gallon, put it in a bucket, and then just have my feet in the hydrogen peroxide in the bucket for like a couple of minutes. It's just that bad. I would rather it burn than itch as much as it does. It's just so itchy. There's 10 bites on one foot and like 6 or 7 on the other. It was really, they were eating me alive. It was a feast for the ages for them, mainly because they only live, 4 or 5 days. Never before and never after will they have seen a feast as they did on my feet. Yeah, there's so many good little notes on this thing. Those citric notes that play in the coffee. I mean, they hit you right when you open the bag and pour out unground beans. The citrusy notes just hit you, and then they're just so much more prominent in the ground coffee. And then they just mellow out so well. Oh, when waters pass through, it's so nice. It's so good. I'm so glad I was able to pick this up when I could at that market. Café Graciela, they have a QR code right there. It's cafegraciela.com, CafeGraciela.com. CafeGraciela.com. Wonderful coffee, many varieties, and 100% a product of Colombia. Thank you for watching today. To recap, we had a wonderful time, the four of us did, at the campground. It was a joy. Other than the bug bites, which will be gone in a week, the fun that we had was just great. And Tim did such a wonderful job. He booked that place in December because that's how quickly things get full there. He booked those 3-day, 2-night stay way back in December. So he found another spot in the same place that he's going to try because it's more secluded. Tim and I share one thing. Well, we probably share a lot of things, but one of the big things is that we're not really people anymore. At least I'm not a people person as much anymore, but he's definitely not a people person. The noise up until about 10 o'clock was fine, but then after that, I think people were getting a little bit more drunk and a little bit more rowdy, and then the park rangers would come by and they'd quiet down. And then if the park ranger left after about 6 or 7 minutes, they'd start getting loud again. But that was enough time for me to go to sleep, so it really didn't bother me that much. So anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you had a great weekend. I hope you have a good week coming up. And we will talk to you tomorrow about some other stuff. Stuff! Who doesn't love stuff? Bye!